Alright guys, welcome back. My name is Seth and you're watching my YouTube videos at my YouTube channel, How I Think. This video is a part 3 in a series of SharePoint videos that I've been creating. And in this video, what we're going to do is create a site, a manual site for a specific department. Now, in my past videos, you've noticed that part 1 was about installing SQL and all the prerequisites. Part 2 was about the actual SharePoint installation, and then creating our very first site. And I showed you guys how to do that through the configuration wizard. And then I had mentioned that in part 3 I will show you how to create a site, manually creating a site. So we'll get right to it. We'll go ahead and click on Application Management. And here, if you notice that last time we created Central Administration, which actually Central Administration was given to us. This is the web application that gets default created, and that's what we use right here to manipulate SharePoint. Then we went through the wizard and it created SharePoint for us, 80, and that's on port 80. That's just so the users won't have to enter anything. And then I had created another for accounting department, and so I'm going to show you how to create one similar to this. Instead of typing in a server name, you can go directly to whatever the host header is. So I created this one for the accounting department, so we're going to go ahead and create one for the IT department. So we're going to click on New, and here it's asking us what type of authentication. We're going to go with classic mode. And then down here it's asking us, do we want to create this in a default site or a new one? Well, we want to create a new application within the IIS website. So I'm going to click on New, and we're going to click here. We're going to call this IT. I want to put this also on port 80. Here we're going to put under host header. We're going to put it.local, my domain name. And if I click on path, you'll see that this is where the virtual directory is being created. So far so good. We'll scroll down. Alright, we're going to use NTLM as authentication. Are we going to allow anonymous? Well, if this was an external site, you may want to, but since this is an internal site for a company, we're going to leave this no. We're going to leave the SSL to no. The URL, this is the URL that users are going to be accessing. Well, nobody ever puts port 80 because that's the default, but that's alright. It's going to go into the default zone. We're going to scroll down. And so here it's going to create a new application pool, and it's going to use that name. So you can change the name if you want to. It doesn't matter to me. We'll leave this the same. We're going to use the SP Farm account. You can use any other account. If you had any other accounts, you can you can use it here. It's going on to the SharePoint 2 database server, and the name for the database is a funky name, so we'll delete that, and we'll call it something that's much more manageable to us, like IT. I'll scroll down, and we're going to use Windows authentication. The applications that are going to be started with this are all the default. You can change that if you want to. You can click on custom and change that from the drop down. It's up to you. We're going to leave everything as is default, and we're going to hit OK. and this is going to go ahead and start the, or at least start the creation of our site for IT. In the meantime, while this is going, we're going to go ahead and get into our DNS, start DNS, and create an A record so users can go ahead and access that site through the using the host header name, because right now there's nothing there. So if they type it.howithink.local, nothing's going to come up. So we're going to go log into our Active Directory, the domain controller, and I'm going to go to DNS. And here in DNS, I'm going to click on my forward lookup zone under my domain, and I'm going to go ahead and right click and say new host. We're going to call this IT. Simple. And here we're going to give it the IP, and the IP we're going to give it is 10.0.1.103. That's for the server. I'm going to click on Add, click OK, click Done. And here is the A record that we created. So now what we can do is we can exit out of here. We'll come back to our SharePoint server, and look, it says it's been created. Perfect. So we're going to click on OK. And now we have a site that's it.howithink.local, specific for IT folks. Perfect. So let's go ahead and now that we've created the application, we have to create the site for it. This was the creation of the web application. So now we're going to click on Central Administration, and we're going to click on Create Site Collection. And here it's telling us which application we want to use. Well, we just created the IT application, so I'm going to click on Browse and say I want to use the IT one. So as you can see here, it changed it to it.howithink.local. It's telling us what we want to name it. I want to call it Information Technology Site. This is a site for all the IT folks within How I Think domain. And so this is a default site, and so the very first site that opens up, I'm going to go ahead and install this under the root. You can change that. If I click on here, the drop down, you'll notice that I only have one default path. I'm sorry, the managed path, which is sites, which is fine. We'll go ahead and we'll create our site, the main site, under the root, and then I'll show you how to create additional paths, and we'll install additional sites within it. So for now, it's going to be a team collaboration site, just a team site, the default. We're going to scroll down, telling us who is going to be the primary administrator, site collection administrator. Now, if you had a specific user or department head, you can put their name here. In our case, we're just going to keep the default to administrator, and secondary could be the SharePoint farm account. And if we wanted to set a quota, we could do it here, but we're not going to. So we're going to click OK. And now this is going to go ahead and create our main IT site within the root of it.howithink.local. Okay, so it's telling us here that the top level site has been successfully created. We can go ahead and right click this and say open in new web. It's going to open in a new tab, and in the meantime we can go ahead and click on OK here to close this. So I'm going to go ahead and close and click OK. Alright, I'm back to the main application management within central administration. Alright, so we're going to go to our site up here. Looks like it's trying to open. Alright, so obviously we said that it's not open to anonymous, only logged in users can come in, so we'll go ahead and give this a try. I am an authenticated user, and we'll see if this works. And it's looking for my credentials, and okay, not a big deal. Let me click on user account, see if it's SharePoint 2. It's one of these two accounts, if not one, the other. And it's not pulling it up. Okay, so I've seen this issue before, and it's good that this happened, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. So it's not allowing us in. If you notice, if I copy this and close this out and open up a new tab and drop this in here, it's going to prompt us, okay, and if I give my domain credentials, normally it should log us in, but in this case it's not doing that. So I've seen this before. What you need to do here is we're going to click cancel, and I'm glad this happened. I want to show you. We're going to close this quickly. I'm going to click on start. We're going to click on reg edit, go into the registry, and we're going to come up here to HKey local machine, systems, control set 001, then control. Within control, you want to come down to LSA, and within LSA, you want to right click on MSV10. Whoops, wrong one. MSV10. You're going to click on new and multi-string value, and when that opens up, you're going to go ahead and type a name for it, and it's going to be called back connection host names. And once you create this multi-string value, you're going to right click it and you can click on modify, and here you're going to go ahead and type in your site name. So it's called IT. We're going to call it it.howithink.local, and we're going to click on OK, and we're going to close this. And once we close this, we're going to go ahead and restart IIS. I'm sorry, not restart, reset IIS. We're going to type IIS reset and hit enter. Now that it's reset, we're going to hit exit. We're going to come back to the tab, okay, and we're going to try to go back into our it.howithink.local site that we created. And there you go, because it remembered our credentials and it opened up the site for us. So it's working. That's how you resolve this issue. If you keep getting these pop-ups for credential and it's not accepting your credentials, you want to go ahead and create that registry key, and that should fix that for you. So now our IT department has their own site, and what we could do is if you click on site actions and go to set permissions, you can give only domain administrators or the your grant permissions, only that group, the administrators group, to have access to this site, and you can change it however you want, and this is where you would change it. So we know that's working. So now that we've created our site, and this is, if you notice, this is just like any other site, and you can make all the changes here. So we know that's working. If we go back to our central administration, what we can do here is, if you notice, we created our IT site. And by the way, the reason this is working is because we've specified we have a, if you ping it.howithink.local, it's going to bring up the IP address of this server. So because we created the DNS record for it. If you notice, it installed everything under the default site page, because that was the root. We set it to install everything under the root. So we're going to now create a manage paths and create additional sites within it. So if I go back to central administration, here I'm going to click on manage web applications. And before I do anything, just quickly, I've showed this to you in the past too. This new site, if you open up IIS, we'll see it listed here, just for your reference. It's good to know. I know I've showed it to you in the past 2 videos, but there you go, the IT site right here. If we highlight our IT site, what we can do is we're going to click on Manage Paths. And here, it's so we have the root, which is the explicit, and then we have the wildcard. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the explicit inclusion, the first one, which can only be used once, and we'll call this one. You can call it main, home, or whatever. I'm going to call this home, and you can click on check to see if it's being used or not. Well, there's nothing there. We know it's not being used. So we're going to close this, and I'm going to say I want to add this to the home. As you can see right here, it's explicit. Now it's using the home path. And because what we can do here is create additional IT web pages within home. Now for the wildcard, I'm going to go ahead and put in electronics. We're going to add that to the path. Okay, we're going to click on close. So home and electronics, these are the 2 managed paths I've created. So now if you go back to central administration and go to create site collections. If you notice web application, we're still under our web application. Here I can go ahead and click on this is our site for all call this electronic site. You can give it a description if you want. And from the drop down, see, we can now choose electronics. This will be created within the electronics. And we'll go with, let's see what type of template we can use. Whatever, we'll just use Enterprise Wiki. I never used that one before. Sounds good to me. We'll scroll down. Same thing, we're gonna go ahead and provide our primary, secondary site collector administrators. That means that they have access to making changes to their web pages, and nobody else does. Just quickly before I hit OK, I want to scroll back up and show you that the if you notice, you created this under the electronics managed path. I know I said that, but I wanted to reiterate the fact. Oh, okay, so I guess it is forcing us to type in the name. Call it etc. It's going to create another site for us within the electronics managed path. Alright, supposedly it's created. We can go ahead, right click this and say open a new tab. I can go ahead and copy this, and we can click on OK, click on home, and there you go. We have a wiki page in the electronics section. And if you notice here, see how it's going to electronics etc page. That's the managed path that we created. Pretty cool, huh? So yeah, so now we've done that. We can come back to application management, central management. So what did we learn in this video? We learned in this video how to manually create a new web application, give it the settings for it, and then once you create it, then we learned how to create site collections, meaning the default site that we are going to provide for that web application. And we also learned how to create managed paths. Also, there is an issue where it may not take your credentials, or if you keep getting prompted for credentials to log into these sites. I also showed you how to create a registry entry, and that will resolve that issue for you. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. Stay tuned for the next video. In that video, I'm going to show you how to do the backup and restore, and also how to do backup and restore using SQL. So and that would be the last video then. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.